So the Soviets had this big game going on in Europe, but they were subtle, chess players, and they're thinking, well, if we can take away another country outside of Europe, out of the Western Alliance, that will be a great propaganda boost for the peace forces in Europe. That will help to destroy NATO. So they picked on New Zealand because we're small, progressive, socially liberal, and the communists controlled our unions, our peace movement, and it heavily infiltrated our Labour Party, the equivalent of your Democrats. But they had an issue. They needed to turn in New Zealand public opinion in favour of their plans, but they couldn't play the anti-American card like they would in Latin America because New Zealanders love America too much. Very pro-American. So they'd have to play a different angle. They'd have to sell it differently. And when I say sell, I mean that. If you think American corporations are good at marketing, they got nothing on the Soviets. They have experts in every country in the world. They know your religious makeup, your social makeup, your economy, your sporting fixtures, your sporting teams, your culture, your holidays. They know everything. They know everything about you. So when they want to sell you a message, they bring in their historians and their sociologists and their psychologists and their slogan masters, and they work out a program to fit your country. And that's what they did with New Zealand. There couldn't be a whiff of anti-Americanism in this, so they come up with slogans all pro-New Zealand stuff. Kiwi standing up for peace. New Zealanders striking an independent foreign policy course. New Zealanders standing against the nuclear arms race. All patriotic, chest-thumping stuff. And these four delegates went back to New Zealand, held secret meetings with the Labour Party, with the peace movement and the unions. They mounted a public campaign, and in 6 months, legislation was in front of the New Zealand Parliament, it was signed off, and our alliance with your country was dead. 6 months. The Soviets could not believe how quickly it went. And I'll tell you, now that you know what the accent sounds like, next time you're down at Disney World and you hear some Kiwis in the queue, and they all love to go there, say, hey, what do you think of that anti-nuclear thing? I heard about that. What's the story? They'll puff out their chest with pride, I guarantee it. Yeah, we did it. We stood up for peace. We were against the nuclear arms race when it really counted. We were the mouse that roared. They'll be so proud of it. And hardly one New Zealander and 4 million people has any idea that those policies they so love were designed by the KGB at Lenin's Institute for Higher Learning. A whole country was suckered, and it's still suckered today. But could that happen in your country? If I'd said that 10 years ago, what would you have said?
Yes.
Nah, well, some of you yes, but most of you I bet no. Pretty hard to believe in the Bush era. So, I want to give some examples, but first I want to tell a little bit of a story. Then I'll give the first example. Tell me, are there any Vietnam veterans in the room? I knew Court was. I would have been surprised if there were none. I knew Court was. This might make some of you a little bit angry, this one. Now, just a few months ago, your president held a meeting up in Washington with the premier of communist Vietnam. And he made a statement during that meeting that caused a little bit of controversy on the conservative blogosphere. Obama said it's a well-known fact that Ho Chi Minh, the communist leader of Vietnam during the war, was a huge admirer of Thomas Jefferson and the American Revolution. Can you believe that one? Well, in a sort of sick way, it was true. But the fact that Obama knew about this, and that Obama was mentored at the knee of a communist propagandist called Frank Marshall Davis, he would have known the backstory here, because this is what really happened.